Today's episode of the Influencer Empires podcast is brought to you by the Empire Program with White Label Suite, powering our influencers and building their empires. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. We have an unbelievable special guest coming back for a second time with me, and that only happens with the very, very, very best. But the world has changed for our special guest who's joining us in just a moment. This man has come from a corporate background where, as a project manager, he broke free, created an incredible company, and became something of a celebrity in the entrepreneurial space. And then AI happened. And then he's rocketed to the owner of the largest AI company in the world. He has 3.4 million members of his AI community on Facebook. He has 60,000 followers on his Facebook page itself. He has over 25,000 people that follow him on LinkedIn. He is in the top 1% of TikTokers around the world with some incredible viral videos. There is nobody that references AI like this man. He has become a person of influence. He is a good friend, and he is the incredible Jeff Hunter. Dude, thank you so much for jumping on.
Wow, I need to definitely cap that that introduction.
It can be a hero reel, man. You can be on stage with that, and deservedly so. When we caught up, you were doing amazing things. You had an incredible business with VA Staffer, which is your amazing VA program, which I know that you've now trained all your VAs on AI, and that's the future. But you would not have called yourself an influencer. You were an entrepreneur. But now, dude, you push a button and more than 4 million people see your stuff. Like, dude, this has been a roller coaster in the last 12 months for you.
Yeah, it's definitely not. It wasn't on my bingo card for 2025 to run the largest AI group. When I talked to you last, I had just started the very world's first ever AI certification program for consultants. I remember, I don't know if you remember, but I used to get so much crap like, what gives you the qualifications to start this AI consultant program? At the time, in March of 2023, I was the only person that I knew who was making money going to companies and consulting them on how to use AI.
Right.
You know? And look how it's progressed since then. Like, it's just, it's out of control. And, you know, I'm super honored that I've been able to, you know, like inspire so many people how to use AI. And you know, the other interesting thing is that it was totally kind of almost reluctant. Like I didn't like did I try to become huge and stuff? Like, no, I just said yes to the right things, you know?
So how's life must have changed for you? Because again, we caught up, you were doing incredibly well, you had an amazing things happening, and now your AI certification program is huge. But how has life changed? We talked about Savage Marketer, of course, being your starting point and how you got the break with that. But this kind of AI space where you have just exploded to become one of the top dogs in this area, it must have changed things for you personally.
Yeah, it's I'm getting asked to speak at a lot more things.
Great. Amazing.
And you know, I think what's been very interesting is this is something that if anybody's listening here and you get one takeaway from this, it's this, is that everybody is looking for an audience, which is why it's really important to build one.
For sure.
I think that's the real hook, line, and sinker, is that when you have something as valuable as an audience. I have 160 plus AI consultants in my program. I've got over 500 people now in my AI training. I've got 20,000 people on my Savage Marketer AI newsletter called thetip.ai. And we have a Facebook group that's got 3.4 million people. Like you said, I push a button and it goes out to 3.4 million people. And it just changes the dynamics. It also gives you a little bit more responsibility. You know, you have to, I am a little bit more careful. And even as a savage marketer, you know, like I have to be careful a little bit about what I post, just because of Facebook. Like, and this is the scary part. Okay. We had to lock down the Facebook group because Facebook was penalizing us for stuff that people was posting in our Facebook group, saying your Facebook group is violating our policies because you are allowing people to post this in your group. So now imagine this, a Facebook group with 3.4 million people, where if I showed you the stats, I mean, we have thousands and thousands of people that try to post every day. We have, as we speak right now, Just for today, we have over 1,500 people that have requested to either post a comment, create a post, or join the Facebook group that have
in the
gone
last week.
unanswered. And that's with two
Wow.
dedicated people that's their job every day when
Wow.
they wake up is to monitor that group. So yeah, it can be a little cumbersome to say the
That's
least.
insane. Just even to monitor that, to admin that. You've obviously had to expand your team massively, or reroute your team to handle that kind of volume.
Yeah, I've definitely stolen some people from my virtual assistant business to
Sure.
work on the AI business. Um, and I've actually, the AI has grown so big that I've actually just separated it as of Friday. Officially, we have a new company that was formed called AI Persona. So it's completely different than my other business. So I've had to separate into two different entities because it was starting for, especially for tax reasons, it was just starting to take over everything.
Yeah.
And considering my first business was a California company, I wanted to make sure this new company was not a California company just for tax
Where did you end
purposes.
up, by the way? Just purely out of
Uh,
entrepreneurial interest.
Wyoming is where all
Nice.
the
Okay.
I found out there's lots of reasons why people start their LLCs in Wyoming. For example, you can pay a law firm to do your paperwork and address for $200 in Wyoming.
Hello.
Um,
Fun. Thanks for coming. Yeah, absolutely. Super cool. So, like, that's changed. But what's changed in your day? You used to be talking to people about their marketing. You used to be helping people out with their VAs. What's your day look like now, man?
the same.
Right.
You know,
Really?
this is the thing that I think most people get wrong with AI. People AI is still just a tool,
Of
right?
course.
It's just a tool. Like if you're a marketer, AI is going to make you do marketing better, right? For me, because we have a virtual assistant company, we're using AI to make our virtual assistants better, right? And this is where I think the biggest opportunity also lies is that it doesn't matter what business you're in, there is absolutely a way, and I would challenge anyone with this to send me a business that we can't figure out a way to use AI to make it better,
Mm.
right? Now, would it be shocking to you to know this, Walt, that only 87% of that 87% of businesses today still don't have AI in their workflows? They still don't have some sort of an
I'm
AI
surprised it's that.
integration.
I'm surprised it's that high, man. I would have thought that less than 10% of people would have adopted AI already. But yeah,
Well,
no, it doesn't
that's
surprise
the
me.
latest numbers. I mean, it
Cool.
used to be 3.8% back in 2023. And they said by 2024 it was probably like 6.4. So I'm looking at it now as hopefully, even if they've doubled it,
Mm.
that's 12%. Even if they've doubled the number of businesses, that's still only 12 to 13%, right? So
The
now
opportunity. Phew, huge.
the interesting thing though is that it's estimated that in 2025, ChatGPT will have 1 billion users. 1
Wow.
billion.
Wow.
That's what ChatGPT's latest trend is looking like. We're going to have 1 billion users. So it's catching on, but still, you know who the highest demographic of adopters are, right?
Tell me.
Students who don't want to do their homework.
Well, they're the
The
future
highest
business owners
adoption
anyway.
rate
Like, I
are
mean, they're going to
students.
come into the workforce and they're going to have that massive advantage because they've been introduced to it. So, dude, like, you push a button and 3 million people see your post. 3.4 million in the Facebook group. Even just your Facebook following alone, just people following you personally on Facebook. Are you seeing? You mentioned a responsibility there. Like, are you feeling the weight of being an influencer in any way, or are you riding that wave?
Um, I'm going to say something. For me personally, I feel that I've had to kind of come up a bit on what I post about. Like I've had to kind of just level my quality up a little bit more.
For
I
sure.
do want to shout out some boys like Austin Armstrong, who has really been pushing me to just create better content, more valuable content stuff. And for me, because my typical audience are business owners, executives, leaders, like I've really only kind of created content towards them. So I've kind of learned how to cast a wider net now because when I only have 50,000, 100,000 people, I know that sounds like a big number, but compared to 3.4 million, it's a small number. But in my own network at 50 to 100,000 people that are all basically business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, I know exactly what to write about.
Mm.
But now when there's 3.4 million people and they're all walks of life, people that are just learning AI, people who are skeptic of AI, people that are just using it for making funny profile pictures versus people that are using it for business, right? There's
Yeah.
all sorts of walks of life in there. So what I'm doing is I'm basically casting a wider net
Mm.
and doing more content that brings more people into the fold and opens their ideas of just how they can actually use AI in a way that's useful for their life, no matter what walk of life they're in.
Nice, man. And I think, I mean, everything that I see in your content is making that message really, really clear. When you're, do you think about the metrics behind your social media growth as a business now? Are you literally looking at your TikTok, your Instagram, your Facebook? Are you measuring that growth like as a KPI, or is it just happening by accident?
Well, I've always done that. I'm a huge data geek.
Hmm.
So like for me, I'm always thinking about growth metrics, engagement metrics, things like that. Like I have actually been posting less content recently, just because I've been, it's Easter break and my kids are out and, things like that. So like I'm actually at a lower point. I'm only getting about 4 million views right now, the past 28 days, compared to what I'm getting 6 to 10 million views. I'm going to share my screen for those of you. I don't know. For those of you who are just listening in, I'll try to describe what you're seeing here. But like if I click on my own profile here on the professional dashboard, this is, by the way, not a page. This is just my personal profile. I can
Wow.
see that in the past 28 days, 4.4 million people have seen my content, or 4.4 million views, 1.7 million people. That's the difference between reach. And by the way, for those of you who are kind of new to content marketing, reach is literally how many people have seen your stuff versus the views. This is how many, like you could have one person who looks at something three times, right?
Mm.
I've got 27,000 people interacted with my content, likes, comments, shares, clicks. I've had 15,000 followers the last 28 days. And I can see, and when I said that I'm really expanding out my reach, like there's new technology coming out like this Manus AI and this Manus AI app here. This is, a comment. The new stuff that's working really well, by the way, just to give you guys a little cheat code. It is. Oh, I did get 60,000 followers. I didn't notice that. When you said 60,000,
Congrats, man.
I was going to correct you and I was going to say, well, 59,000. But you are right. As of
You're already
today,
there, bro.
I have 60,000 followers. So,
Absolutely amazing and deserved. So,
but this is the stuff that I'm talking about, though.
yeah, yeah.
Like, want to learn AI, want to earn with AI. Here's how to do it. This is working really well. This stuff here, where I'm just dropping some comments in there because it's too long for a normal post, but it
Mhm.
gets people's attention, hooks them in, and then they read the comment section for more. So there's a little content hack for you guys.
I love it. And you're obviously plugging in a whole bunch of automation in the back end of that, helping people get started with your programs and get into, paid memberships and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so that post right there was actually created with a AI copy tools, which is an AI copywriter suite that I launched. And actually, that's how I got featured in Entrepreneur Magazine and stuff. Was from the app that I launched.
I
But
mean,
I
Forbes, Entrepreneur Magazine, like, dude, you have become. Did you ever think you were going to be a cover girl? Like, I mean, dude, like,
no,
is there a
a
centerfold that
centerfold
we should know
model.
about this? Like, there's something going on here. No, man. I mean, congrats,
So
Entrepreneur Magazine,
it
bro.
all started with and this is what I love, Walt, because this is the same place I met you. It all started at a mastermind,
Yeah.
right? And I'm excited I'm going to be there next week too. But it started at a mastermind. I got invited to come speak at an event, and a couple years ago, I had launched a Black Friday offer,
Yeah.
and
I made you
actually, it was
famous,
last.
man.
I take it back. It was last year.
Yeah.
So last year for Black Friday, I launched a program and we did a Black Friday sale and it crushed. We did we did $50,000 in pre-sales before Black Friday even started. So we made over 100 sales because it was a 497 offer. We did over 100 sales before Thanksgiving dinner on Black Friday deal. We did another 20K on Black Friday that weekend up until Cyber Monday. So we did about $70,000, about $75,000 in total on the promotion. And the crazy part was AI made the entire thing. It came up with a survey that went out to my clients to find out what they wanted to buy. We came up with what the offer is based on the challenges and pain points that they identified in the survey we sent out. The survey was even made with AI.
Yeah.
We used AI to analyze the results from the survey, and then we literally used AI to come up with everything that people wanted for us to make for them for Black Friday. We crushed Black Friday. We did 70K in sales, and then I was asked to come speak about it at an event. And that was when, at the event, I said something very funny. I said, I was very lazy. So on the sales page, I actually said, I want you to create the sales page in the style of Dan Kennedy, the legend behind the No BS for Marketing books. He's like the godfather of direct response marketing. Well, it just so happened that in that room was a guy named Partiv Shah, who was the co-author of the latest book that was already basically done and about to go out. It was with Dan Kennedy's next book. He was the co-author. And it was about, guess what? The No BS Guide to Marketing Automation and Artificial Intelligence. And he loved what I shared. I did a breakdown of everything we did and how we used AI. And he goes, I think that if I pitched this to Dan Kennedy, he would love it. And I think he would put it in the book. I said, no way. He goes, the problem is the publishers have given me 3 days and it's on the final revision. Can you get me this in 3 days? Oh my gosh. Let's just put it to you this way. Here's the book. There it is, the No BS Guide to Marketing, the ultimate no holds barred guide to technology, automation, and artificial intelligence by Dan Kennedy and Partiv. And if you look and fast forward to chapter 14, there it is. Lo and behold, it's your boy. There it is. Look at that. Case study.
Wow, bro.
See? Artificial
Congratulations.
intelligence, how I use artificial intelligence to create a Black Friday sales funnel. And it's a really beefy section, super
That's
beefy.
incredible,
Picture of
man.
myself in there, picture of
Well
my
done.
sales funnel. And here's what's crazy. I just said, yes, I can make that happen. I can make that happen. I mean, people would pay to be published in a book with Dan Kennedy, let alone be asked, right? And by the way, I don't even think you can pay to do
Yeah.
that. So it was such an incredible opportunity. I said, yes. Now, did I know that Entrepreneur Magazine was going to make that book their editor's pick for March and April of 2025 and feature 10x? Look at this, 10x your
So
sales. Case number 3 right here. Look at
wow, the
that.
70K launch right on the cover.
And
Missed it.
then this was the part that was mind blowing because my local Barnes and Nobles was actually sold out. They did not have Entrepreneur Magazine, and they said, "Well, come back and come back." And finally, I kept coming back, and they didn't have it. I said, "Fine, I'm going to go to Amazon and order 10 of them," you know, because I know it's in there because it says page 52. See, it says page 52 on there.
Love it.
Lo and behold, I look and see. Let's look at page 52. It's the center story. Look
Wow,
at
dude.
this. The
That is
centerfold
absolutely
story.
amazing.
Look at that. AI made his marketing. He made 70K on the promotion. And it's a 7-page
They
centerfold
could have taken
spread.
they could have taken anything from Dan Kennedy's book, but they took your story from
They
it.
took that chapter. They
That's
they were just inspired. And that's what I said earlier. Like one of the things that really excites me is that I literally know that I've inspired, like I even inspired an editor at Entrepreneur, you know?
That's amazing, dude. That's incredible. I think like you mentioned the responsibility of that before, leveling up your content and doing that kind of stuff. I mean, you're still you. You're the guy that I spoke to that we got on so well. You're the dude that loves his car. Like we gelled on so many levels. But
Oh
now
yeah.
you have people that are genuinely inspired by you, and you're moving that forward. What do you think? What do you think that looks like for you 12 months out?
Well, the Facebook group obviously is just massive, and I really want to just share people, and for me, I'm just using it really to drive awareness on just like how AI can be adapted, especially
Mm.
for business.
Hmm.
But also, I also feel like I have a massive responsibility because of the reach I have to make a lot of people upset, and I have to tell the people the truth, man, which is AI is absolutely coming for your job. Um, You know, one of the things that really scares me is, in the Philippines, which, as you know, my virtual assistant, most of my team members are in the Philippines, and most of them have worked at call centers and stuff, and their families still call centers. And call centers is 13% of the entire Philippine population.
Wow.
13% of the entire economy is call centers in the Philippines. They have full towns built around call centers. They
Wow.
have the restaurants in the call centers. They have the security inside the call centers. They have all the food places and everything around it, the support of the cleaning. I mean, it's not just a call center. It's so many things attached to
Created an economy. Yeah.
servicing.
Yeah.
And the buildings that are going to go out of they're just going to be non-existent because I'm telling you, the virtual AI agents that are doing calls 1,800 calls concurrently at the same time, cheaper, almost, I shouldn't say cheaper, almost the same cost if, my guess is by the end of the year, it'll be cheaper than hiring a human, even in the Philippines where the average call center agent makes less than $300 a month.
Mm.
Okay. So imagine the bar is low. All you'd have to do is get the software to be less than $300 to replace. And
And it does
honestly,
1,800 times the volume.
yeah, and even if it was $500, I mean, just the quality, the English, I mean, the accents. Walt, you can get an Australian accent. You can
Mm.
have a UK accent. You can have a Southern accent. You can have an answer like, "Thanks for calling Southern Belle. How can I help you?" Like you could have the AI do whatever, and it never complains, it never calls in sick, never tries to steal your clients, and it doesn't like there's just infinitely, I can't even tell you, infinitely more benefits of having AI over humans when it comes to jobs like that. So
So
I
you're saying
think
that
right.
like you feel the responsibility of sharing that, like, that the AI, you're known as an AI influencer, and that AI is going to make such an impact. But you're also famous for saying AI won't replace you. The person who knows how to use AI will replace you. Like, so you're trying to skill up
I'm
people around
almost
you. And that's what I'm
transitioning away
seeing.
from that, man. I hate to say it, but
Tell me.
the AI is evolving too much, man. It's
Yeah, right.
it's evolving too much. Like it will absolutely, there's absolutely people that it's absolutely going to replace call center agents. Absolutely. The
Yeah.
only time it will not is because it might have a reverse effect. There might be a flip soon, Walt. There might be a flip where companies say, "Hey, call us today. We have real humans on the line."
Mm.
That could be the flex. That could be happening. But marketers, watch out. Social
Yeah.
media experts, copywriters, watch out. Call center agents, watch out. Data researchers, analysts, bye-bye. I
Yeah.
mean, Grok released deep research. ChatGPT has deep research. Perplexity already by default, before they added deep research, and they added deep research, was doing better research than most humans I know, and a lot faster. I
Mm.
mean, there are entire career paths that will be completely wiped out, sliced like a katana, and AI just does it faster and better and cheaper. And it's
Mm.
just a fact. So, yes, AI will replace some of your jobs. And to some, the person who's using AI will replace your job. I just made a post the other day and I got a lot of flack for it. And I said, stop hiring humans. I said, whoever's hiring humans right now, stop. And here's why. Because right now, if you're not hiring one human that can do the job of 5 to 10 because of AI, you're not making a good hire.
Yeah.
Because very soon, every single person will be hypercharged and powered by AI. And I'm telling you right now, the workforce is dying. It's dying to find people who just use AI. I like my VA, my Filipino VA, Jackie. She's worked for me for 3.5 years. I would have never 3 years ago asked her to do newsletters or slide presentations or Facebook posts. But now I have created a bot, right? I have 4 different AI copy tools that literally are like, here's my social media post writer, here's my slide presentation webinar maker, here's my newsletter writer, here's my blog writer. And she just operates all of those tools.
Yeah.
And
You've
she
skilled
can
her
do
up.
5 jobs.
Yeah. Yeah, and she was already amazing. And now she can do 5 times more amazing work in so many different fields. So, dude, I think like I Googled while we are chatting, and you asked me a statistic before, and your comment was 87% of businesses aren't using AI. I was surprised that it's even that high. But here's something as now, focusing on you as an influencer in this space. As I Google this, 57% of high school kids, when asked about what they want to do when they leave school, answer that question by saying they want to be an influencer. How do you think that's a staggering statistic for me as a parent
Wow.
of teenagers, but that is the truth. 57% of kids, when asked what they want to do, they say, "I want to be an influencer," because that's what they're seeing in their devices all day. That's the people they're connecting with. They're connecting with the success stories as influencers. Here's my question to you as an expert in the AI space. How do you think the world of influencers will be impacted specifically by the advent of AI agents and bots coming through?
Hmm. Well, 2 things coming off the top of my head. Number one is people genuinely want to follow people that they trust and believe are authentic. And I believe that building a personal brand is really important because that helps establish that.
Mm.
Number two, and it's almost related to number one, is you need to foster a community of people that believe in the brand and trust you, whether that's an email list, Facebook group, school group, whatever. You need to foster that community because
You need the
people
audience.
are going to be looking at who's real, who's legit right now. Like there's again, shout out to Austin, love him to death, but he's got a completely faceless, AI, and now he's got his avatar where you can put his own avatar, and he's not even in the videos. Like it's a fake version of him,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I'm mind blown because people don't even know, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
And the one thing I will say from the influencer side is that you have what an influencer of what, you know? Like I don't I'm sorry to be skeptical, but an influencer of what? I'm an influencer because I'm a first mover in AI. I show people how to use AI. Um, I'm trying to help people avoid losing their jobs or helping them retrain so that they can have a better job with AI. There's a very specific reason why I influence people. Obviously, influence being the root word behind that, right? Influence. What is that influence that I have? Am I influencing the world by showing them useful things, right? Like an influencer online on YouTube, like what? Like Vitali, who goes around, he's actually we'll see if Trump saves him, but he's locked up in the Philippines right now for doing pranks and stealing police officers' hats and stuff like that and being a menace to society. Like, is that influence? So I also think that maybe we have a problem with screens and kids because I know my kids are glued to it. And when my first hint was, Walt, that they were spending too much time watching influencers, they are addicted to Prime.
Yeah.
The Prime. The Prime energy drinks
Oh,
that
wow. Okay.
literally never existed until YouTube stars and Mr. Beast and friggin' Jake Paul, Logan Paul started pushing this stuff. And now these kids, they wake up and they genuinely believe that their life does not exist without Prime.
Wow. And I mean, geez, that's happened in every generation. Like, you know, it's one. fad after the next. But like the role of AI, and you mentioned Austin there, Austin Armstrong, who's on the show later on in 2 episodes time actually. It was funny. We were talking to Rachel Peterson last week. I asked her who influences you. She said Austin Armstrong, and I'm like, the influential people that I'm speaking to are all referencing Austin, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Austin is a prime persona in this space where we're talking about real versus fake. Austin's reach is 800 million views on channels across different things. That's nearly a billion views of
Yeah.
non-human related content. Let's take that high school kid, right? And an influencer or what? Maybe this kid's got a talent for dancing. Maybe this kid's got a talent for cooking. Maybe there are some entertaining ways, and there's a billion different ways that you can be an influencer. How will AI disrupt that drive of the kid who wants to be an influencer chef when you and I and Austin could create a chef-based influencer channel tomorrow and bust it out to a billion views? Like, how will AI disrupt that influencer's space?
Well, there's so many, first off. I mean, th one thing is there's just going to be more content like that. So it's going to be
Right.
harder to stick out. Like think
Yeah.
about Opus Clip, right? Ever since Opus Clip came out, I mean, it used to be that Hormozy style video. Now everyone's got a Hormozy style video. So it's not as impactful anymore.
Yeah.
Like people want, I have seen a trend a little bit more towards long form content, which is why I begrudgingly am starting my YouTube channel this year. I finally launched it. I got my first I got 1,000 subscribers since I started my YouTube back in 2014. It took me 10 years to get 1,000 subscribers. And in the past 2 weeks, I now have another 1,000 subscribers. I got 1,000 subscribers in the past month ever since I blew up. Right.
Now you're an influencer, bro. You can push a button and 3.4 million people. So you just got to
And that's
direct it
with and
where
that's
you want it.
without that's without trying. Like I've never, matter of fact, someone tagged me and said you should follow this guy, and that's how I got 1,000. Austin Armstrong tagged me. There it was.
Wow.
Right. So, here's the other thing. Let me pull a parallel from the influencer marketer to the HR manager. And I'm gonna tie something in here. It's really critical. It must be a miserable job right now to be an HR or hiring manager because
Mm.
every single applicant to your job has a perfectly crafted ChatGPT resume.
Yep.
So where do you find the real people in a slew of fake ChatGPT resumes? And it goes back to that genuine authenticity. I think that if you are genuinely going to stick out as an influencer, you have to drive real value, you have to be real authentic, and you have to not be afraid to say some stuff that people don't like, you know? And again, like it's going to be hard. The competition is going to be hard. It's going to be hard. I know
Yeah.
because I've been doing this for 10 years and I'm barely blowing up, right?
Interesting. Amazing. So the next evolution for you. I mean, you are moving. You're opening. You're starting a YouTube channel. You got famous on TikTok for some viral videos that had nothing to do with what you're doing now.
Yeah.
But now your reach in the AI space is going to assist you with whatever you do. If you had to start again, bro. If you were like, and to achieve the level of infamy that you have now, infamy. Sorry, man, you're infamous. You're one of those guys. To achieve the level of success that you've got now, the following that you've got now, the audience you've got now, if you lost everything today, what would you do? What's your game plan?
If I lost everything and had to start over, I would absolutely go in other people's Facebook groups and start building my brand there.
Hmm.
And I would start posting valuable content on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. Now, Threads is, I think, overlooked. I accidentally go viral on Threads, accidentally. And the only reason I know is because I have it so that my Facebook posts go to Threads automatically. And then one time I log into Instagram and I have little like 9+ notifications on Threads and I click on it. I'm like, oh, that post got 400 likes. Like, oh. And so I think that your reach right now on Threads and Facebook Reels, Facebook groups, and TikTok are probably the easiest way to grow your brand right now, starting at ground zero. You don't even have to have a following to go viral on any of those platforms.
Mm.
You just have to post content that people want to see.
Yep.
And by the way, here's a tip. If you want people to be interested in you, you have to be interesting.
Best tip ever.
That's
You,
how simple it gets.
you
People
can't
see
be vanilla.
me and, like uh, I post interesting stuff. Like I just funny story of all the stupid stuff I'd post valuable stuff. I post valuable stuff all the time. And you saw earlier, funny story. I'm sharing my screen here, but I post all this useful stuff. And lo and behold, I click on my profile, I go to my dashboard, and I look at what has got the most reach on my wall in the past week. Let's take a look. Here we go. Just in the past couple days, I got the Manus one, which did really well. But what is this one here? 32,000 views, 22,000 reach, 202 interactions. Oh my gosh. It's a post I made about the Blue Origin flight. And all I talked about here was literally how people are hating on them. But you know what? I thought it was a pretty good deal. And I said, a Super Bowl commercial in America costs $7 million for 30 seconds. It costs them, get ready for this, $28 million for the flight to space, but it was 11 minutes. And people were still talking about it. Here we are a week after, and people are still talking about it. They're making memes about it. I said, to me, that's a 10 out of 10 on the Savage Marketer scale. Like, that is some good marketing.
Right. I
And
said
you
the
know
same. As
what?
that's a great marketing move from a space point of view,
Yeah.
from a Blue Origin point of view. It's just
Yeah, and those every single person won, right? And even Katy Perry, who's getting trolled or whatever, guess what? They're talking about her,
right.
right?
She's relevant.
And I'm a firm believer that most of the times when I've gone viral, even when I showed you how I went viral on TikTok, it was mainly from trolls.
Yeah.
Like trolls come, and if you want to become an influencer, you and you don't want trolls, you're in the wrong business.
Hmm.
Okay. Because trolls are absolutely critical to becoming infamous, as you say.
Yeah.
The
Right.
only reason why people blow up is because people love them, and then some people hate them, and then the people that love you come to your defense, and that creates that virality. So
Do
I'm just
you
going to
deal,
leave it with that.
do
If
you deal
you
with any
are,
of the hate yourself? Like, does it ever impact you? Does it ever throw you off course?
it used to in the beginning,
Yeah.
but now I'm at the point to where like I gobble it. Like I love, like I feed and feast on the comments of trolls. Because I'm like, ooh, that's a good one. Like I actually enjoy, like I love a good burn. Like I like a good roast once in a while. Um, but at the same time, like, does it kind of hurt me a little bit to know that someone doesn't care or doesn't value the stuff I do? Yeah, it does. But at the same time, if I wanted to make people happy, I'd just sell ice cream. So I'm out here to make an impact. I'm out here to get people's attention. And when I get trolls commenting on my stuff, I know that I've said something that's going to get attention.
Interesting. Do you ever we've had one of our previous guests, Rachel, actually, who said that when she goes viral for one of two reasons, either good reasons or bad reasons. And when she goes viral for good reasons, like the world's a happy pink place and it's all rainbows. But when she goes viral for bad reasons and all of the trolls come out and hates on her, she actually said that she has to delete the apps off her phone for a few days. Like she literally has to just
Mm.
completely distance herself from that. Hearing you say that it's an algorithm feeder. It's such an interesting thing. Like the posts that make the biggest impact are the ones that get both sides of the argument, combating each other as they're going forward. It's an interesting take, man.
But and you know what, Rachel, though, love her to death. We're friends. Um, she probably she's probably right. I mean, depending on your mental fortitude, and I'm not capping on her mental fortitude. I'm just saying that some people handle stress differently. That's
Yeah.
probably stressful to her. And it's for her own mental health. She's probably just like, you know what? I'm going to delete this for a few days until the steam calms down. To where I look at it and I just start laughing.
You just start laughing because you know you're going to get 20,000 more engagements over the period of time. Dude,
Yeah. And yeah. And I think that the more that you go viral and the more that you get the hate, the more that you just kind of get used to it, you know.
yeah, right. Dude, I want to just focus on. So we talked about audience growth and strategies and that kind of stuff that we've already spoken about. What is what's your preferred method for monetization? So getting that audience behind you is one thing. How do you suggest that influencers monetize their audience and their following?
Well, first off, you need to have something, you have to think about who your audience is. I actually just got off a client call right before this because I think a lot of people I think a lot of people don't know their audience well. And
Mm,
with AI, there's no excuse. There's really
yeah.
no excuse. Like for me, I know who my audience are AI enthusiasts, they're business owners, they're C-suite executives who are trying to figure out how we can integrate AI into their like that's my target audience, right? Like for the Facebook group, it's that wider net. It's the AI enthusiasts, the people that are just trying to figure things out, right? So you have to have valuable resources that you can create, and you can use AI to create these to really offer some value, to build that network, to build that audience, to build that Facebook group, to build that email list. So for me, like I have an awesome newsletter. We're growing at about 1,000 subscribers a week, sometimes more, depending on if I get a viral post or not. Um, but what's really awesome is that we have this incredible opportunity right now to just create lots of value and not and it's infinite value because you can literally create really high quality stuff. ChatGPT 3.5 when it first came out, it really was, it wasn't great. But now, especially with Claude's my guy. I
Yeah.
don't know. I love Claude. I feel like to me it's the best, AI tool so far that I've seen. All my own tools that I make are using Claude's API in the back end. I'm a huge Claude fanboy. But like even today I made a new guide because a lot of people are wasting money on figuring out how to use agentic AI. Okay? Hey, have you started using any of those AI agents yet?
You started to, yeah.
So I noticed that everybody kept saying the same thing that they suck using their agents kept eating up their tokens that they're not getting results out of it. So what I did was I used Claude to reverse engineer my top projects in the prompts and basically make a guide reverse engineering on top of the knowledge that I know from my Fortune 500 life as a project manager. I took my principles that I know for building projects. I took the reverse engineering of the projects I had made that were successfully built, and ironically, I used an AI Claude to create a guide on how to create an app, a web app using an agent. And then I used my guide, fed it to AI, and said, now that you've done this, I want you to create a master prompt and a master prompt template. And then when you're done with the master prompt template, I want you to make a master prompt template to make an interactive version of this book into a web app. And then it did. This is this right here. Look at this. The anti-vibe coders guide to agentic AI. It made this whole thing. Look how beautiful this is,
It's so
right?
cool. I
You
actually went
can,
through this on the weekend.
yeah. And it shows you the things you need to learn. Like what do you need about the front end data? Like these are things that this is that know enough principle. As a project manager, I've learned you have to know just enough so that you can communicate with your subject matter experts. See, in the past, before AI agents, you had to have a coder and you'd have to have a programmer that knows this and that. You'd have to have a network engineer. You'd have to have a graphic designer or whatever. Now you can use AI agents to do all the stuff. And then I created this master prompt generator here where you can literally click and fill in the blanks and it starts creating the master prompt for you. And I was like, no way. So I went on my Facebook and I don't know if you know about this little hack. This is another little hack you guys can do. You can actually save your posts. I have all my lead generation posts saved. So every time I make something for people to download, it literally shows people, look at this. So here's my prompt, my post from April 7th. I said, not only did I finish my guide, but I have used the exact same thing. And I said, go ahead and comment below to get it. And I have like 397 comments of people They want this. I couldn't actually respond to everybody because I had so many comments, Walt, that Facebook was preventing me from commenting more,
Wow.
right? So back to your question, if you want to build a list,
Yep.
you want to
How do
build
you
your
turn that into
audience, you have to create things of value that people really want. And it has to be good enough. And that when you make a post, you got people saying, yes, I want that.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And that's whether it's Instagram, Facebook, Threads, LinkedIn, whatever, like you absolutely 100% without a doubt need to make sure that you are coming from a position of leading with value.
Mm,
And that's how you earn people's trust and get them on your list.
for sure. And like looking back over our time here right now, like you started by talking about having an audience. Now we're talking about, the creating the content is engaging or feeding that audience on a regular basis, and monetizing that is simply providing the value that they want. So we
Yeah.
start by creating like that's the role of the influencer, right? Is to create awareness, engage with that audience, and then feed them what they're asking for to keep that cycle going. Dude, it's so very cool. Like your marketing, your project management marketing side, AI awareness, VA world has come to curate together to create a behemoth, a beast in this space. It's incredible, bro.
I feel like and this is absolutely amazing. Well, I feel like I'm living in my absolute best, like, combination of everything. Like, everything I lived in my past life as a project manager, an IT project manager, and everything that I threw that all away to build remote teams, virtual teams, and learn marketing. And like for me, and even the past 5 years have really been heavy, heavy, heavy since 2019. So maybe 6 years have really went deep on just personal branding and marketing. And now with AI, it's that combination of all the IT stuff from my past life, how to speak to computer. See, I know how to speak to computer. And here's what's important. I know how to expect what a computer is going to give me back.
Mm.
That's the part that people still haven't figured out. What is the computer going to give me back? It's just like playing a video game. Like, you know that when you press the up button in a video game, your dude's going to walk forward. But most people don't understand that you need to understand at the computer level what you ask and what you're going to get back, right? And then you combine that with the marketing skills and what it takes to actually build a brand. Now you're talking, because now all the marketing and branding, and this goes back to the very first original question you asked me about how it's going to affect. Well, AI is just a tool. AI is just a tool to help me build a brand, to help me build the audience, to help me create the content, right? To help me deliver better value service to my clients. And that's how you need to see it in your own life. Don't be, and even I say this could be one of the biggest mistakes of your life is going all in on AI. Going all in on AI, because I swear to you, in 5 years, no one's going to be talking about AI because everything is going to be AI.
Yeah. It won't be discussion worthy anymore. It'll just be.
Yeah. It'll be like when flat screens first came out. If you went all out on flat screens, well, everyone's got a flat screen now. You're the flat screen guy? Congratulations. Everyone's got a flat screen, right? So you have to be very careful from a brand perspective on where you're at. So for me, I stay in my lane, baby. I'm a marketer, copywriter. I know how to get attention. I know how to build a brand. I know how to make money. AI, it's just a tool to help me do it better.
I love it. I love it, man. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Jeff J. Hunter is the Savage Marketer. You can check him out at savagemarketer.com. The man is moving with the times, to use that cliche. He is indeed savage in the way that he's attracting audiences and building incredible followings. And of course, one of the world's greatest minds and influencers in the AI space right now. Dude, thank you so much for jumping on. I
My
absolutely
pleasure.
love I love spending time with you. I love the way your mind works. I can't wait to see what you're doing next. Give us a hint. What, like the next 12 months for you? You've got some big stuff coming through. What are you looking at?
Yeah, so I'm completely revamping my virtual assistant company to be more AI operators. So instead of being virtual assistants, I'm really leaning in on them actually helping run all the AI tools and operations for companies. And then my AI certification program has been blowing up. And that's where I see like I can make the biggest impact right now in the world is by just training the people that are actually going to help businesses. And these businesses, they have budgets. It's not like like literally every business right now, like at least, like I said, at least 87%, probably more, but at least 87% of businesses out there have no clue how to even use AI, and they need people like us. I bet you there's people watching and listening to this right now who have so much knowledge that could add so much value to a business, and they just don't even know how to monetize it. You take it for granted because you log into ChatGPT and make profile pictures, right? Where you can actually be using it and showing companies how to create stuff for social media and marketing and emails. So I think that's the biggest impact I have. And that's kind of what I'm going all in on is just training the next generation of the AI power workforce.
I love it. I love it. So, guys, don't forget savagemarketer.com. Go and check out the man, Jeff J. Hunter. And, dude, congratulations on blowing up. Congratulations on the success so far. I think it is literally just the beginning for you. And can't wait to see what comes next,
Thanks
man.
for having me,
Thank you again,
brother.
bro.